Honourable Member for Calgary McKay-Nose Hill.
Speaker, I rise in the House this morning to speak to Bill 28, the 2017 School Amendment Act. While the School Act was last amended in the spring, Bill 28 proposes some of the most substantive changes to the Act that we've seen in many years, and some of the changes are long overdue. Some could be problematic. In particular, this legislation mandates a one-size-fits-all solution for transportation that does little for students enrolled in alternative school programs. Students in traditional learning and French immersion, for example, not to mention their parents, are completely sidelined by the bill, and many will have to continue walking, driving, or taking the bus long distances in order to reach the school of their choice. The government seems to be under the impression that every kid goes to their designated school, and while they may see this bill as a case of the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few, they should recognize the nuances of school transportation in the province. Of the several families that have contacted my office in the last few months, very few would be helped by the bill. The value of standardizing the age at which students enter kindergarten makes a lot of sense from an administrative perspective, bringing all the school boards in the province into alignment with one another and ensuring students moving from other jurisdictions within the province will be held to the same standard. For example, if a young person in Grand Prairie is eligible to start kindergarten in the fall and their family moves to Calgary, they're still able to start their studies on the same timeline in their new home. Similarly, a student who moves within their own municipality joins another school district, they're all held to the same mandatory age of entry. But what about students who move to Alberta from other provinces, particularly students who have already started kindergarten in their home province? This is not in step with other jurisdictions. For instance, Newfoundland and Labrador School Act allows school boards to admit a kindergarten student who is less than 5 years of age if they are enrolled in kindergarten in another jurisdiction or will be 5 years of age before the end of that school year. And that's from their School Acts 1997. Unfortunately, Bill 28 does not instantiate any mechanism by which the Ministry of Education or any of the province's school boards can use their discretion and allow a student to enroll in kindergarten in Alberta who is eligible to do so in their home province but will not turn 5 by New Year's Eve. There's certainly many positive changes proposed in Bill 28, and I'd like to particularly commend the government for establishing and strengthening education service agreements with First Nations communities, and for putting a mechanism in place to establish a code of conduct for school board trustees. As elected officials, like MPs, MLAs, and municipal council members are, trustees should be held accountable to their constituents and for their actions, especially since their conduct has an enormous effect on our children. As we are still in the early stages of debate on this legislation, the Alberta Party is not taking a firm stance on Bill 28 at this point. What we will do is ask questions, pay close attention to amendments, and possibly propose some of our own. In the end, we'll see where the bill goes. Thank you.